This is S Ra Live. I haven't done a live one in a while. I had a little bit of jitters doing it. Honestly, you gotta stay consistent with the live ones because you feel a little nervous because you can't really screw up. And I screw up a lot. When I do these pre-recorded ones, everybody's thinking I'm just doing these straight through. No, at least the start. You get off and you start stumbling at the start, and then you're just like, okay, we got to redo that again. We got to re-record that again. So that's what happens on these on the pre-recorded ones. But these live ones, I gotta be good and accurate right when I start. Can't be no stumbling. So that's what we're just gonna get straight to it. No stumbling. Beterbiev versus Joe Smith Jr. this weekend. It's got a good, it's got some good buzz for this fight. I've been very open with this that I think that this is not a competitive fight once they're in the ring. I think it was promoted correctly. I think it was built up correctly. And I think Joe Smith, as I've continued to say, is top ranks, one of the best promotional job top ranks done in a very long time, is what they've done with Joe Smith Jr. It's actually happened to for Joe Smith like 3 times in his career where he's been promoted like this and brought up like this, but this is probably the most successful run of it where he's like legitimately, people are legitimately think he's like a contender in the light heavyweight division without really beating anyone, or just like there's like valid reasons why he beat everyone. Like I could tell you why he beat every single guy he beat, as far as Bernard Hopkins, who was 50 years old. And that's not even an exaggeration. That's not me exaggerating. Like, oh, he was 50 years old, or like, he was 60 years old when he fought. Like, to exaggerate it just to say how old he is. No, he was really 50 years old. Already beat Fonfora, who big win was beating Chavez at 167 pounds. Chavez that was unmotivated, has never done anything effective at outside of 160. And then beating Alvarez, who had just got unanimous decision loss to Kovalev, who everyone tells me Kovalev was washed. Like when Canelo beat him, he was washed. When Kovalev beat Yard lost to a washed Kovalev. But when Alvarez loses to Kovalev, like, I don't know, we just disregard that, and Joe Smith gets full credit for beating Alvarez. So I think that when he fights this weekend, and I'm telling you that I don't think it's going to be competitive, I think that Beterbiev is a much better fighter. And he's not just like a brawling fighter that's just looking for his big shots. No, like he's very technical. He can be. And the one time I seen him slip up and get dropped is because I thought he was overly aggressive. I don't expect him to be like that in this fight. I think he's going to take his time. I think he'll let his shots start adding up with Joe Smith, and he'll eventually break him. That's what I truly believe. And this whole Joe Smith hype train, whatever it was, a great promotion by Top Rank, will come to an abrupt end. But this is exactly how they needed it to come to an end, with a big fight. Gonna sell out Madison Square Garden's a small room. I'm not even 100% sure. Is it the big room or small room? I'm guessing it's a small room. They're gonna sell that out. They're gonna pack the house. They're gonna get decent viewers. People like a good story, and a guy that works a full-time job as a laborer is a good story in boxes. And it's a story like Hollywood would definitely get behind. They would 100% get behind this. We're going to see a Joe Smith movie, and it might not make it all the way to like theaters, but you'll see it on Lifetime for sure. There's going to be a Lifetime movie about Joe Smith, or maybe even a Netflix one, like one of those like quick Netflix one that they sneak at you, where it's just like, you may be interested in this, and you're like, whoa, Joe Smith story. You're probably going to see that. This fight probably won't make it in the movie, honestly. This is probably the ones where like they give you the writing at the end, like he went on to fight for the Beterbiev and got destroyed in like 2 rounds. It'd probably be that part of the movie where, just the writing at the end where you're like, well, whatever happened to him? Oh, he got smoked by Beterbiev. They won't do that one. They'll probably end it with Alvarez, and it'll just be like triumph and success, and you'll just assume, everyone, there's no one who's ever watched boxing before would just assume that he's probably go out to be one of the greatest fighters ever. But I think that's all going to come to an end this weekend. The undercard, I think, with Nova and Robisi, I believe that's how you say his first name. I think that's a good fight. I think that's better than the main event. I think it's a very competitive fight, and I think Nova, who's coming down in weight, who's started his career at a heavier weight and now working his way back down, which is very rarely seen. I think he's gonna have a good size advantage. It's just going to be the skill that he's going to face. It's gonna, so one of the things where the guy's gonna have to kind of like walk a tightrope on it. But I think it's a very interesting fight. I'm trying to pull it up and see if there's like is there anything like where these guys are Robinski Ramirez is number 12 in the WBA. He is Nova is number 12 for the WBC. Is Ramirez going to work his way up that? I'm trying to see if this is like put them in position anywhere. Ramirez is number 12 for WBO. Oh, Nova's number 4. So I guess this is the WBO. This is for like a WBO. Work their way up that ranking. Yeah, so it's a very good fight. I think I'm gonna go Ramirez in this fight. I think just skill alone, but I think he will have some shaky moments just because Nova's so big and he has skill. It's not like he's unskilled. He does have skill. It's more he's more going to use like his physical abilities. Like he's more going to use his explosion, his speed, and his power. And I think Ramirez is going to rely a lot heavily on his footwork, picking his shots, and being able to walk you into shots. I don't think that Ramirez will be able to hurt Nova. Maybe I could be wrong about that, but I think Nova would be able to hurt Ramirez if he could land clean on him. So that's what it's a makings of a very interesting fight. Maybe not the most exciting fight, but I think that if you like the little techniques, the little subtle changes in strategy, this is the type of fight that I think that you might be very interested in. I think that don't just watch the main event, get there early for at least the co-main event because I think that's a very interesting fight. And we've been, this is a kind of a slow weekend for boxing, but it's a good fight, so it's like you can't complain. But I mean, last weekend they threw a lot at us. Yeah, Edgar Blanca, who I don't know if I need to say more about it, but I've been pretty vocal on I don't buy into Edgar Blanca. I thought that they really messed up with what they had there because they had a good gimmick. They had a good thing for him as far as like promotional, where they could have just had him keep squashing guys that weren't ranked. And I don't think if you're already getting views for that, you're already getting ratings, and people are selling out wherever he's going. What you need to change that right away? Like just build that up until people demand that he fight someone legit. Because I don't think anyone was demanding it. I think Top Rank was they thought they really had something. And, not that they're wrong for trying to figure out they really have something, but if you have that much success and your job as promoters to sell tickets and make events and everything like that, why would you go away from that? Why would you think like, I want to put him in with Rolls or Angulo? Like, how does that make sense? Because they're not more known than the guys that he was fighting and squashing. It really wasn't. They're not like these guys are more known or they sell more tickets when he does that. The fans don't know the difference. Casuals. I'm talking about casuals. You don't sell to the hardcore fans. Hardcore fans are coming no matter what. So you're not selling to them. So you're selling to casuals. What was the point of this fight? So now I think we all know now that he is never going to be top level fighter. Sometimes I'm a little too negative on fighters. I try not to get away from that because I don't know. I want to bring more attention to the sport, so I'm not trying to be negative. But it's just the signs are there that he's not going to ever reach the Canelo level. He's not going to be a world champion. He's not going to be David Beterbiev. He's not going to be a rival to these guys. He's not going to make it to that point. So it was a misstep, and I think they could have kept building him where he would just squashing guys that, like I said, were like mid level or maybe slightly below mid level, and then you get him to the point where it's just like they did with Chavez Jr. It's like, okay, he's ready to get him the name at whoever name is at the point where you're gonna move him up. Whoever the champion is, whoever the guy that could sell the most tickets with those two match, you make that fight happen. That's it. It's as easy as that. Or you bring a guy in from the weight class below who's looking to get into the next weight class and he wants a name and that he would be the name for him, and you would give him the advantage, Berlanga the advantage, because he'd be a little bit bigger than the guy that he's coming up, and then that guy would take the fight because he's like, well, it's Edgar Berlanga, and we think that he's not that great. That's what you do with this, but they screwed all this up now, and it's been revealed. We see the magic trick, we know how it's done, and I don't think it's going to get better from here. I think that you can't go backwards anymore either because that's too obvious. So now, to me, that whole experiment and that whole gimmick and what they had there is done. So I don't know we're just going to keep mashing them tougher, I guess. And honestly, I thought Angulo was doing a lot better work than he was getting credit for, especially from we know from the judges, but from the commentary team, like they just didn't even want to talk about the shots landed. And that could really warp what you're seeing. It really could. If you're not really paying attention, you could be talked into Berlanga was just outboxing him that whole night. And I don't think that was really the case. Now, I have no problem with Berlanga winning. I thought it was close, and I don't think Angulo really pushed it to really make a statement that he won the fight. But I thought he was doing good work, and you could see that Berlanga was getting frustrated, especially because you see he tried to bite him. He just got suspended for, I believe 6 months. Was it 6 months? He got suspended and 10 grand for trying to bite him. Strange. That was strange, but yeah, you can see it was frustration because Angulo was doing good stuff in there. He just didn't keep it consistently, and maybe because of his age, he just could, or just he's always been that type of fighter. Just can't keep up a consistent performance that he needed. Because I thought that was really in position right there to beat Berlanga. I really did believe that. You know what? Oh, let me send a link here just in case anyone wants to hop on here. If you're going to YouTube, if you're I don't know if you're watching on Twitter, you go on to YouTube. Um, Here, I'll post it on Twitter too. If you want to hop on here and give me your thoughts or disagree with what I'm saying, I'm more than welcome that. I really do. Let's see here. I'll post this on Twitter. Oh, I think Polo's about to hop on. So I know he's about to have Polo, he's about to have 1,000 opinions right now. Let's see here. Let's post this on Twitter too. So anyone wants to hop on. I welcome it. I really do. I can't wait for just people to hop on left and right on this bad boy. But okay, so I invited Polo. I put it on Twitter. So whoever wants to hop on, if you're watching on Twitter, just click I just posted it right now. Click the link, and I'll gladly put you on here. But yeah. So I just think the Berlanga thing. I don't think that there's anywhere really to go from that. I think you can match my stuff as possible now. Really, I think that you could just go and do that. Just see if it could just that bring something out of them. But I really think that was a misstep by Top Rank on that one. And then Munguia fought, and goodness, it was just bad promotions left and right actually last weekend. I think that was the storyline leaving it. It was just bad promoting left and right because Munguia fighting Cali, which I don't know why he wasn't fighting Shane Mosley. I still haven't heard a valid reason why it wasn't Shane Mosley Jr. that he was fighting, which would have made a lot more sense. Would have added a name, an actual name that was, people were aware of. And honestly, it's like not like Shane Mosley is some killer or some like elite talent. So you would have felt okay with Munguia going in there with him. And he was just coming off, Mosley was just coming off his biggest win over Rosado, and Munguia was just coming off a Rosado win. So like, I don't understand. I have heard no reasoning, and I'm surprised what hasn't been really asked to De La Hoya. Like, why wasn't this Shane Mosley Jr. taking this opportunity? If anyone knows, go ahead and let me know, because I don't understand it. But he goes in there with Cali, and it just looks like he's getting outboxed, honestly. And his power saved him. And Cali doesn't look like a high level fighter, but he did look like he was putting on Munguia. And some of those shots too, it looked like they were kind of like Munguia was, really feeling them. So I don't know. I just thought, and De La Hoya did the thing where I really hate what promoters do. UFC would do this a lot too, but it's a little different when UFC does it because they're not really selling one fighter. They're just kind of selling whatever they throw out there. But it was like, oh, see, it was a competitive matchup. So you never know. So you shouldn't be critical. It's like, no, we could be critical. Your job is to put a match that we're interested in before it happens. That's all promoter's job is. It's not what happens the night of or after. It's what happens before. How do we feel going into the fight? What is our interest level going into the fight? That's what a promoter's job is. You think people are watching Jake Paul and they're like, I wasn't interested going in, but after I saw the skill level in the ring, I'm glad I watched it. No, people usually leave Jake Paul being like, he's not that good, but he got that knockout. Let's see. Well, then people talk about like, who can he fight next? Who would beat him? Right? That's what they're doing. Do you think Jake Paul's doing it in the ring? No, he's selling before the fight. That's all Jake Paul. That's the whole gimmick with the Pauls. They sell before the fight. That's what you should do as a promoter. You got to sell before the fight. The reason why Taylor and Serrano worked so perfectly and was a success is because it sold before the fight. People were interested before the fight, and then it was a huge success in the ring. But honestly, if there was no interest before the fight, it wouldn't even matter what happened in the ring. That's the honest truth. That no one would have talked about it. But it's because it was a success before the fight happened. So De La Hoya, who at some points in interviews before the fight said he didn't even know who Cali was, wasn't even sure, never looked at him, never saw him fight. He said that too. This is the honest thing that he said. And I think that, I think this people might be right to be worried about De La Hoya right now. And some of the stuff he's saying is off the wall, right? But If that's the case, right, and you've never seen him, how are people supposed to get excited about this? And there was no buzz for it. So I just didn't get it. I thought Shane Mosley was in the perfect spot to get that fight. Shane Mosley Jr., I don't want to confuse anyone. Shane Mosley Jr., Shane Mosley's son, was perfect position to get that fight against Munguia. I think Munguia would have been favored pretty big in that fight, but even at worst case scenario, Shane Mosley Jr. pulls it off, right? There's a chance that that could kind of like bring him into stardom a little bit. And at worst, then you have a rematch there with two guys that are under your promotion, Munguia and Shane Mosley. But no, they want Kelly for whatever reason because Munguia's been a mandatory to a title for a long time. So it's not like they have to work their way up the rankings to do this. And he's backed away from final eliminators, title shots. He's done all that. So it just none of it makes sense. It was just a huge failure, in my opinion. As far as Munguia selling, he does sell. He does sell pretty good. Like I said, the Golden Boys built on three guys, and that's Ryan Garcia, Virgil Ortiz, and Munguia. They are. That's it. They're building guys, and they almost screwed up and lost one of that tripod almost lost a leg. Because if Munguia would have lost, and they would have wasted the Munguia payday that they're trying to build him up to on Cali, would have been a humongous slip up. Okay, I was like, damn, did I send Polo? I did send Polo. We'll see. Polo, Polo, he'll come in and out. But when he comes in, I guarantee he's firing. He's going to be firing. I was talking about, and I make these graphics from time to time. I was talking about the 135, right? In like I call it the ecosystem, the stables of the 135, and who has the best one. So I don't know if you can see that so clearly, but I have Top Rank, right? And they have Haney, Loma, Comey, Nakathila, Cambosos, and Keyshawn Davis, right? And Davis is coming up. I don't expect him to really be with those names for maybe a few years, but I think a lot of people probably be pretty confident that he could beat Cambosos, Nakathila, and Comey right now, and give the Haney and Lomas, a run for their money. But it's not as deep as you would think. Like when Haney went to Top Rank, you kind of felt like, oh man, look at Top Rank just really revved up their 135 division, and they did. Like, adding Haney is a big part of their 135 division. It's a huge get. But really now it's really Haney Loma, like all the guys below them. I don't think, besides Keyshawn Davis, like I said, who's a little ways out, I don't think anyone is really threatening to those guys. I don't think. I think whoever wins between them, which is the fight I imagine next, or if they could somehow get that Cambosos rematch, but I don't think any of those guys are threatening to take that spot. I don't even think that's an interesting really matchup for either guy after they win. So I would imagine one of them, whoever wins, possibly moves up and tries their luck at 140. If you're Loma, maybe you just wait for Shakur to come up if you beat Haney. Now, if you go to the PBC, which Tank has had a whole problem with the PBC, and everybody's criticism with Tank is, doesn't have any opponents. He's not fighting any of the top guys. Well, I think that things are about to change with that, and that narrative is about to change because now he has the Cruz rematch. I don't know if that's next. I imagine it's next, but could be Ali Rivera next, right? So he has the Cruz rematch, and Cruz is way more known now than he was in the first fight. And now it's not a short notice replacement that they'll actually be able to promote it. And then you get Ali Rivera, who was gonna, it's like a French contender. I don't think by the time he fights Tank, I don't think he'll be considered up there with like Loma and Haney. But where it gets really interesting is that you have Valenzuela and Frank Martin. And I think that they're being built. And by the time that they get to Tank, they will be credible threats and won't be ridiculous to say that they might be the best guys at 135, along with Tank, Haney, Loma, even Ryan Garcia at that point. Right? So now Tank has two guys he could fight that are legit names at this point. And then he might have Valenzuela and Martin, who at the point when he fights them might be very credible wins, might be better wins than, who Haney or Loma is going to be able to have available to them on Top Rank at that point. And also, Tank can say if he were to get through those guys, which is a pretty good run, he could go to 140 where he has Russell and Matias, and saying that they haven't fought each other yet. on that. Here's Polo. Let me add Polo real quick. Polo, you good? You can hear me?
I can hear you, man. I can hear you.
All right, wait, let me just finish my point real quick. But okay, so say Tank goes to 140 and he can fight Matthias or he can fight Russell, right? And this is say that Haney goes to 140 and he's got at that point maybe Taylor who's looking to go up and wait. Maybe Teal. Let's see what Teal
We're
fights
talking
Taylor. What
about
would happen
fantasy. We're talking about fantasy fights that might
now? So
not happen.
yes, well, what I'm talking about is yes, what I'm
I'm
talking
gonna tell you
about
right
is
now.
go ahead, go
He's
ahead.
not fighting those guys. He's not fighting those guys, bro. He's not
Well,
fighting those guys.
why? Haney, you're talking about Haney, right? Why is he not
No,
fighting
no,
those
no.
guys?
I think he said Tank. I was like, no, he's
No,
not
no, no,
fighting
no,
those
no,
guys.
no, no, no. What I'm explaining is where Haney's at. Who's in a better position right now as far as opponents in front of him? Haney or Tank? Who would you say?
Haney.
Why? Why?
Well, to be honest, because he has all the belts, and like people are gonna wanna to try to make history. Becoming undisputed and getting the Tank is a cash cow. But if you're looking for legacy, you'll go for Haney. If you're looking for like a payday and maybe some fame, you go for Tank. Because to be honest, you beat Haney, you'll get legacy, but it won't really bust your fame up. You go with Tank, give him a competitive fight, or even possibly beat him, your your stock will go up.
Okay,
Kind of like with
but
Cruz.
what opponents does Haney have on top rank right now that are
He
like
got Lomachenko.
okay, that's the
He
best
has
one.
obviously the Kambosos rematch. He has Nakatila. He has
Those see, but those aren't great wins. So Cambosos rematch. Cambosos, the first one was a good win. Now the second one that's already diminished. Nakathila, come on, he's not. That's not a good win. Already Shakur already exposed
okay.
him.
I mean, yeah. Oh, okay. I mean, the Lomachenko. I mean, he'll just probably vacate and move
Loma,
up, and then
yeah,
no, he'll go
okay,
to
so
140. He'll go to one.
okay,
I
okay,
don't think the
that's what I'm talking about though. But 135, right? 135. Haney only has Loma now, so now top rank's kind of thin at 135.
yeah. I
Okay,
just didn't realize because Comey went up, Pedraza went up. Now that I do realize it, they really don't really got. I mean, unless they bring people from other like networks or
that's what I'm
people that
saying.
are
So
like
they would
come
have to
from.
bring some other guys in. Now, if you go to PBC, they have Tank, they got Cruz, they have I have Rolly Romero still in there, but he's not going to fight Tank again. They have Rivera, they have Valenzuela, and they have Frank Martin at 135.
Yeah.
Now, okay, let's say they move up, both of them. Let's say Haney and Tank both move up, right? So Haney's going to have. I don't think Josh Taylor's going to be there long. I think Josh Taylor's going to set up a Teal fight for himself and then
Yep.
dip
And
whether he
move
wins or
up.
loses. Yes. So you'll have Tiafimo. You'll have what Cepeda, who's
Sean
probably gonna,
Cepeda.
yeah, but he'd probably fight Josh Taylor before that happens, right?
Yeah.
So
Jose Ramirez. You got
okay, Jose
Barbosa.
Ramirez, you would need Barbosa to develop, right? You would need him to get a big win. Who else they got?
They got no, they actually got quite a few. They got Cepeda, Ramirez, Lindolfo Delgado. They got I don't know if he's gonna be with Top Rank, but I'm pretty sure that he's gonna fight on a card. His name is Poya. They actually do got a lot of 140s that
See,
we
okay,
don't really.
but that's what I'm saying. They need to develop them, right? They don't have no one that's like for sure fire
Oh,
star at
Cepeda,
140 besides
Cepeda,
Tiafimo.
Cepeda, and
No, no, no.
Jose
I don't.
Ramirez. You don't think though? I mean,
Well,
those are.
Jose Ramirez is a good name. Jose Ramirez is a good name. Let's see how long Jose Ramirez stays at 142 though, because he's getting older. He's probably
Yeah,
not gonna want
to
to
be
cut that
honest.
long. So
Yep.
if you move Josh Taylor up, right, and then
Hmm.
Jose Ramirez, he don't want to cut anymore, and Josh Taylor doesn't have anyone at 147 to fight at top rank. So why would Jose
No,
Ramirez just go follow him up
no.
into
Well,
147, and then they run that rematch,
yeah.
and they have a rematch, and they have a opposition at 147 that they both fight each other.
No, Top Ring actually does have welterweights. We just don't really like. They have Rasputin. They have Giovanni the dude with Robert Garcia. They actually do have some
But they need
147.
to
Just not.
develop them. But they need to
Yeah.
develop them. Yeah. Okay. Now let's say Tank goes to 140.
Hmm.
Okay. PBC has decent names and possible stars at 140 as far as Russell, who's like people consider the next big thing. They have Matthias, who's a legit opponent at 140.
Yeah.
They have who else they have at
Robert
140?
Easter. Robert Easter.
Yeah, I don't know when he's gonna come back, but let's
They
see.
got Ryan Marno. To be honest, I mean, you're keeping it real. I mean, they do. They have no, I don't know. The guy he's fighting, like, I don't even think he's gonna fight any of those guys. To be honest, bro, I'm gonna keep it 100. I don't think he's gonna fight.
Oh,
Like,
They have Brandon Lee, who's a name. Brandon Lee's gonna be a name. Um, I'm just going down the rankings because there's so many guys at 140. Not all of them are stars, but they're like credible names.
yeah.
What's his name? Puelo, who's gonna fight for the title against
Yeah, they got him.
yeah, yeah,
They got the guy he's fighting, the guy that lost to Mario Barrios.
yeah.
They got him. They have a mix.
Akhmedov.
Yeah, Meta. They got the guy, the one that Matias beat. They have names, but it's just like it's kind of hard to keep up because
That, but that's
sometimes they
but
just.
that's what I'm saying though. So when I always thought that Tank was in a bad position. Like I'm like, who are they gonna get for him? Now I'm thinking like he actually might have a very credible run going forward, where he's gonna have a wide list of opponents.
Yeah, but to be honest, I'm not really. I don't think he's gonna fight anything. He'll fight the guy that Mario Barrios beat before he fights like a Matias, maybe
You mean
Puello,
like
maybe
Carl? You talking about Carl?
no,
Cowboy
no,
Carl?
no. I'm talking about the dude
Who?
that the guy that Barrios beat for
Oh,
the title.
Akhmedov.
Akhmedov. He'll fight Akhmedov before he'll fight Matias
Nah,
or
I
something.
think I think Tank. Well, honestly, I think Tank's in a perfect position right now where he's gonna go on a run. He's gonna beat Cruz. He's gonna beat Ali Rivera, and then they're gonna build up Valenzuela for him and Frank Martin, and he's gonna fight those guys. And by the time they build those guys
Nah, I
up,
don't
those are
think
gonna be
so.
big fights. Those are gonna be
I don't
humongous
think
fights.
so. I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna. He's gonna fight any of them, bro.
Why?
He'll be at 140 because, bro. Like I
Okay,
don't
well,
know, man. Like, bro.
even
They said
140.
like 5 years ago they were saying that point that he was gonna fight Robert Easter. He was gonna fight, and look where we're at right now. He was gonna fight basically all the 130 champs. And how many of them did he even fight? Pedraza, and then he fought Leo. I'm not
Yeah,
very
okay,
hopeful.
like
I
no,
think
no,
he's just gonna
no.
fight guys that are kind of like former world
Uh,
champions or careful selection. He's not
I
fighting those guys, bro. But I
I've been
heard
as
this
critical.
5 years ago, and he. Oh, I heard Progress too. And come on, do you really think they're gonna put him in there with Progress?
I've been as critical as Tank as the next guy as far as his resume. I think he's the best 135er in the world, me personally. But
Nah, I
I
think
think
it's
that I don't think he's earned it by any means. That's just an eye test. I'm just saying, me, if I put them all in tournament, I think Tank will come out. But I think right now he's in position, and I think that they're going to capitalize on this to fight. He has a legitimate run that he could go through at 135, and if he goes to 140, I think that if they can grow Russell fast enough, I think that's a pretty big fight for Tank and
down
Russell.
maybe. I don't know, man. I'm telling you, I don't think they're gonna put him in any fights like of that. I do see him going down to 130, maybe fighting the winner of Roger and Hector Luis Garcia, maybe fighting Chris Colbert.
I don't
Um,
think he's not going to go back down. I think that
I
I
don't
think
know
he'll go
where
down.
you get this, like, bro. I've been seeing the same stories, like, bro. Apparently, he was gonna fight all the champions. He didn't even fight one guy there. He fought Leo, a guy that was a featherweight that they kind of waited for him to get, and then he fought Mario Barrios, a guy that man, he said he didn't even win his fight against I can't pronounce his name, and then he fought Cruz, a late replacement. Okay, then he fought Rolly. It's like I think we might see Giselle Corrales next.
No, you're not going to see that.
Bro,
No, he's going to fight. No,
he's close to Mendo. He's close to Mendo, bro. They're gonna just say that he's a mandatory to his belt because think about it. You know
no.
the regular and belt. The regular has his mandos, and so does the champion. Michael Rivera will be the mando to the actual title, and the regular will be Giselle Corrales. Giselle Corrales just won an eliminator not too long ago. You realize that
Yeah,
the regular has.
but I don't think Tank really cares about that belt. Like, not enough to be like, I'm going to fight this guy because he's a mandatory. I don't think they'll do that. They'll do it if it's one of their guys, but I don't think they really care to fight Corrales. I think that
Well, Corrales is a free. Wait, and Rolly was a mando. They fought him.
yeah, but Rolly's under the brand that he's in. Like, you know what I mean? It makes sense for Rolly. But I think that they're gonna go Isak Cruz too. I think that's next, and then
I
they
think
go
that's
Michelle Rivera.
next year, not this year, because Cruz already has a date, and by the time
Well, he has
Tank
a day in
returns,
August. He has a
yeah,
day in
and
August. Yeah, but
yeah,
then he
he's
could
not
go
gonna
in
be back for
September.
December.
Why? He's
Nah,
probably a tune-up. It's probably a tune-up fight for him.
no, it's not gonna be a two. It's gonna be eliminated.
Versus who? Who would you guess? Let's see. Where
Uh,
is he? What ranking are you looking at? What is he
well, I
eliminated
heard
for?
from the
What?
sources. I heard from the sources. It's either gonna
What's
be
yours?
man. Don't trip, but I told you about. I don't think the Ashdishan Ortiz fight, and it got announced until he pulled out. So.
Okay, Isaac Cruz in the WBA is number 12.
It's either gonna be WBO or IBF. That's how much I know. It's gonna be between the WBO and IBF. So just look at
Wait,
the opponents.
so he's working his way up for Devin Haney for
A
that?
title
For
shot. Well, bro, they want to be champions. Come on. So it's either gonna be an IBF
not good.
opponent or WBO.
No,
It's not gonna
no,
be
they're
a
gonna
tune-up,
build.
bro.
No, they're gonna tune him up, and they're gonna build him for Tank. Why the hell would they go in after Devin Haney, where it's gonna go to a purse bid, and they might not even get that fight. They want to make money on their network. They want to make money with their
Yeah,
guys.
but
They
I'm
already have a
saying, bro, they
storyline
have
built.
to. No, but here's the thing, though. He already fought him. That fight is not gonna happen until next year. That's not the rematch. It'll happen next year. If it does
Possibly,
happen, it's not
maybe,
gonna happen this year,
maybe Ali Rivera's next, but it's a combination
bro.
of
You,
Ali
you, you
Rivera
gotta
or
remember, Cruz was already like number two in the IBF. Remember, then he was just fighting kind of like two. Not gonna call him tunas because I mean, stay busy fights. He lost his spot. He went against Tank for Reggie, and then he should have. I think he should have at least. They kind of completely removed him, and then he came back. So it's like they want a title shot, bro. If he was number two at one point, they even considered him versus Steele. Remember when the Cambosos thing was happening, and they couldn't agree to like they couldn't come to agreement. They actually were gonna pull Cruz to fight Theo. So it's like, bro, they want their title shot.
okay. What makes more business sense for PBC and Showtime to get him to fight Devin Haney in a purse bid situation where you could possibly lose that fight to ESPN, right?
Yeah.
Or to have a fight Tank on pay-per-view where you control both guys and you could control the who makes you control both guys, you get all the money, no splits, and you may have a massive pay-per-view and do it at a stadium and sell it out. Why would they go the other way?
Well,
Why
here's the
would
thing
Eastern
though. How
Cruz
do
do
we
it the other
not
way?
know? Why wouldn't Haney? How do we know Haney's not gonna just say, you know what? I'm done. I can't make weight vacant. Then they can pick up a vacant. Then Tank can get a vacant, and then they could do a unification. That makes more sense. Why are they gonna rematch again for the same Reggie belt that has no value? That's just gonna be, I know they're trying to
Because
make Tank a star. Bro. Haney
but they
is
haven't
gonna
cared.
either.
Has Tank showed that he's cared about any belt? Has he showed that he has any interest in
Well,
becoming undisputed?
because listen to this. Look who's had the belts. They didn't have plan to fight Tofimo. They were never gonna fight him, so they were probably gonna wait until he vacated and grab the vacant belt. That's what they did. Well, at 130, bro, they went for the weakest guy, Pedraza. I'm
Well,
not gonna say the weak,
that's what
but that's what they're
everybody
gonna do.
does. That's what everybody
No,
does. But I'm saying right now
no.
though. But I'm saying right now though, right now, because Tank already has a belt. He already has a belt. And if Haney
So
drops, then what happens? He gets moved up, right? To the full time.
I think so. The rules are he
Right?
does get elevated. Yeah, he gets elevated. Or they sometimes have you you know this WB. I thought usually they elevate you when somebody else wins the regular. So like yeah, they'll elevate him. Then they'll get Cruz to fight whatever the next highest, probably the IBF or W, and they'll just do that, bro. That's what they've been
Okay.
doing. That's what their plan was.
Here.
Their plan was the whole time was to see what the female was gonna do. So when he vacated, they'll just elevate him, and then they'll get whoever's on the network in a unification match. That's what their
Okay.
whole plan was, but they saw that the female lost. Okay, now it was Cambosos. Their plan was always to wait for a vacant belt. They were never gonna fight the female. They were never gonna fight Cambosos. They were never gonna fight. Their goal was to make sure the belts were on their side, and they'll do unification matches.
But I don't think that. First of all, I don't think Haney's dropping the belts anytime soon.
So he's gonna just defend against mandatory because he has an
Yeah,
IBF
no.
mandatory.
He's gonna fight
Michelle Rivera is a mando technically until the order, and he has the Lomachenko, so he has three
Lomachenko.
mandos.
Yes, so he's gonna fight Kambosos again, right? Unless they can talk Kambosos getting out of the fight, which I don't know how they could do that.
Yeah.
But let's say he do that, right? Let's say he fights Kambosos or they talk him out of the fight. Then he's gonna fight Lomachenko. Okay, they made it very clear that they want the Lomachenko fight. They're happy with the Lomachenko fight, and Lomachenko is mandatory, so it makes perfect sense. So that's at least a 6-month gap. I'm explaining right here. So there's no one's positioning himself for anything right now because there's no point because it's going to be a long wait. But what does make sense is to position these guys to fight Tank. That's what makes the most sense to me.
No, I feel you, but I have a feeling they're trying to wait until because think about it. Say Haney does fight Cambosos, then he's like, I can't make weight no more. I'm vacating it. Then if he goes to 140, he has options. He could fight Tron. He can fight whoever. He could fight Deal. Like he'll have a title.
No. He could do that, but I think that Lomachenko. I think that when Top Rank did all this, and I keep saying this, they had one thing in mind: Lomachenko in an undisputed fight. And they thought it'd be Haney, but they were okay if it was Kambosos because Kambosos does well in Australia, and Lomachenko will travel there, no problem. But if it's Haney, all good. They could do it in Vegas. But that's what the main goal was. They're not gonna put all this money into Haney and then not get the fight that they want, which is probably be could be the last big fight they could get for Lomachenko. That's the fight. That's what they're working towards. So everybody's gonna have to wait because Haney's not gonna drop that anytime soon.
All right, we'll see, but I have a feeling by this time next year he won't be at 135 no more.
That could be fair, yeah, because this time next year he could have fought Lomachenko already by that point. So yeah, maybe that's fair, but I'm just saying it's not going to happen overnight. So I don't know why PBC would position themselves for that belt when they could just smash it up with Tank and get the payday right now. Which Tank has showed no interest in the belts. I've actually heard him say that he'll fight Kambosos and Kambosos could keep the belts. That's what he said. This is his words exactly.
So, I saw that. I saw in the video. Like,
yeah.
Belts. Oh my god!
Exactly. So I don't see what Tank's interest in the bout is.
Man, what is he gonna do? Come overweight and just say I don't have
it? You don't need him. 2 pounds over. Well, I know this weekend you're pretty much on. Wait, do you have like the volume up? Because I can hear my echo.
Oh, my bad. I have my headphones in. I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good.
Oh, I think I had it on my ear. That's why.
Yeah, I was like, I can hear myself talking. But Beterbiev versus Joe Smith. I know you're pretty much we're in the same point of view here. But go ahead, give me your take on the fight.
Beterbiev 6-round stoppage. It looked competitive, but I think Beterbiev is gonna make easy work of him. I like Joe Smith, but I just don't see it, man. I was a fan. I just don't like how they did Velasquez. I thought Velasquez pulled it off. She should have been the world champion. It should be Velasquez versus Beterbiev, not Smith.
I think I thought Velasquez won that fight too.
Yeah, he won that pretty, and it's like, bro, if you're getting cut open by Velasquez and it looks like you're about to. He said in the blood and sweat and tears. I almost thought of like he said that it was like, man, I was thinking of quitting. I was like, oh man, like, ooh, he's in trouble. I really do think Beterbiev is gonna have a field day with him.
I agree with you on that. And like I said, I told you that Joe Smith, and I said that to open this thing up, is that he's just a well-promoted guy with a good story. That's all really all
Thank you. And people really say it's like, bro, like you see, yeah, he has good like wins when he's, but bro, we've also seen him, not look so good against, he got clearly outboxed with Barrera, got his jaw broke. It's like, bro, you got your jaw broken by Barrera, and you're fighting one of the hardest punchers after Adonis Stevenson in the division. You clearly, shouldn't have beat Velasquez, and then you got schooled by Bivol every round, and literally almost got stopped in the 12th. When Bivol had him he had him hurt. Remember that in the 12th round that he went up to? It's like, bro, Bivol almost stopped. Like, he's not known for his he's just known for his going 12.
Technical ability.
Yeah, UD, but he almost got stopped. So that works. Like, you really think I could see him dropping Beterbiev, like maybe like a flash knockdown couple, but he's gonna get stopped. I see him quitting.
If he flash knockdown Beterbiev, then that's like you're giving him a pretty good chance to win, because that means he would have to land clean. So what I'm saying is, I'm not sure he lands clean in this fight. I don't think he does, honestly. I don't think he lands clean.
Beterbiev is shitty though. Like, he's not gonna hurt. I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be one of those.
I don't think Beterbiev gives him the opportunity to land clean. Like, honestly, no. Who dropped Beterbiev?
Jeff Page and Kellum Johnson.
And if you see in that fight, Beterbiev goes pretty aggressive. He's actually kind of wild in that fight, and that's why he gets caught. But when he's under control, like, he's actually not the easiest to hit. Honestly, because of the power coming back, you kind of have to be tentative when you fight him. You can't just like go all out against him. So I don't
think he has the best defense. No, I do see.
No, I don't think he has the best defense. But I think that he's tactical enough and smart enough to keep range. And I don't think Joe Smith has the ability to honestly to make up that range without getting hit with vicious shots. So I think that Joe Smith's going to come up short all night. Kind of similar to the way the Bivol fight. I think it could be very similar with I'm not saying Beterbiev is going to move like Bivol did in that fight, but he's just going to be able to get out of range, and Joe Smith's going to stumble in because he doesn't really have the footwork to cover that space.
I don't know, but when I say I do see him knocking him down, he's not going to hurt him. I just feel like he's going to catch him, but it's like, bro, as soon as Beterbiev gets up, he's going to he's going to come forward. Like, I do give him that. I do see him dropping Beterbiev, but it's not going to be like, he hurts him. I just feel like he's going to catch him, and Beterbiev's going to get up, and he's going to go for it, and he gets stopped. I do see that happening. He drops him, and then Beterbiev stops him before the round ends because I see
who who do you lean if like right now in the future next fight Beterbiev and Bivol? I don't think that's next, but I'm just saying if they fought, who would you lean towards?
Better be late stoppage. I think Bibble
Really?
would be winning on the cards, but I think Better is too strong.
I
People
think that'd be a very
overestimate.
good fight. Very, very technical fight. I really would like that fight. I think Hassan said that would be the possibly the best matchup right now that could be happening in boxing. I think besides Spence and Crawford. I think I'm quoting
Triple
that
G
correctly.
Canelo. uh,
But yeah, I don't know. I think that'd be a really good fight. I don't know. When I was looking at it, I was like, damn, Beterbiev is very technical. Like his offense at least, and the way he like spaces for his shots and stuff like that. I think he's a lot better than people give him credit for.
yeah. No, we gotta see, man. Like you said, they have Mandos, and they gotta get through those mandatories. WBO Mando, his WB, and then he has the IBF mandatory that's gonna get called up pretty soon.
Well, so that's
Or the
gonna be
W.
he's got Yard next, right? That's the one
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
next. That's a
He
good
got.
fight. I think Yard is kind of underappreciated a little bit. I think he's actually has some abilities to be scared. I think he's more scared than Joe Smith, if you ask me. I think Yard is more scared than Joe Smith because he has speed and he has explosion. I don't really think
Oh
Joe
yeah,
Smith has that. Joe Smith just has hammer in his hands.
yeah. And the thing is, what gets me strange is I don't know how Yard set out the whole year. Like, did he not want to lose? Like, because he lost his mandatory spot once, I think, when he lost to that London, and then he rematched him. He didn't have a fight in between. He should have been on this card, and then they could have just been like, "Yo, the winner's gonna have to fight him in England." Like, he basically just sat out and said, "No, I'm
So
gonna take my break."
his last fight was Arthur, right?
Yeah, and like November, December, it was like in November, December, and then he just
Mm-hmm.
sat out.
Because those guys don't want to risk it. They don't want to risk that mandatory. So they're just gonna wait it out until he gets that big fight that he wants.
Yep.
What do you think of the co-main event, Nova versus Ramirez?
Oh, I got Ramirez winning. I'm not really high Nova. I think Nova's just the mascot nice, the colorful beard. I think Ramirez beats him.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that, but I think it could be interesting because remember, Nova's moving down from in weight classes, so he's going to be
Yeah,
big. He's going to be really physically big. He has good speed. He has a lot of raw ability, and I think that one thing Ramirez kind of lacks is I don't think he has. I don't think he's the like the explosive puncher or one punch type of guy. And I think he's actually kind of a small guy for his weight class, and I think Nova's going to be a really big guy for his weight class. So I'm kind of curious to see that with the physical abilities that Nova has, how that makes it interesting. But I do favor Ramirez just because of technical ability.
yeah. I don't know why Nova moved down. That was kind of strange. Like, he was close to a title shot. He was like number 3 at one point. Number
Yeah,
2, I think.
I wonder what he saw or felt that he was just like, let's just move down. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe just because
uh,
no Shakur, I guess.
yeah. That kind of threw me off. I was like, wait, what? Yeah, yeah, he was close at one point. That's what I'm saying. It's like it kind of sounds strange, and then I don't know, man. It's just weird to me. Like when you're in a weight class, you move down. That just shows me that
I,
I'm not a fan of that. That just shows like, yo, maybe you're like, oh, let me move back down. Sometimes they say that the champions under weight class it might be easier to get a title shot than the one.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't know what maybe like he never really had like the strength and conditioning coaches, and they were probably like talking him into it, and they were just like, hey, you could keep, you have room to drop here, so we could do that. I have no idea. I know probably someone's asked them before, and I'm sure there's an answer to it, but it's not often seen that someone drops in weight when they're moving up in their career.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd take Ramirez in that fight. I'll take Ramirez in that fight. How about in okay, so the big talk is Fulton in a way. How are you feeling about that fight
I think
at
I think
122?
I think going to let's see how I don't know, man. I want to see how he looks at in a match at 122. Like get a fight before that to see. I would lead towards in a way because of the part. I do think he does stop Fulton late, but I'm like I want to see what he looks like 122 because like we want to see that power carry. So I would lead towards a new way because like I don't know. I see some holes that he can get under Fulton, and if Fulton fights him like how he fought Brandon Figueroa, oh yeah, he gets stopped.
Okay, but Brandon Figueroa kind of forced that fight, right? Like he and Fulton could just match what Figueroa was bringing. But I think that I don't think Fulton's going to fight that way. I don't think he'll choose to fight that way. I think he can fight that way, but I don't think he's going to choose to fight that way. He's going to look to box and beat Inoue in the middle of the ring using footwork, using his speed and all that. And I think to me, I think honestly, Fulton might be one of the best fighters in the world. Like I told this to Broadway, he thought I was crazy. That if someone told me that Fulton was the best fighter in the world, not off accomplishment, just off of his ability, I wouldn't be like, you're crazy to make that argument. I really wouldn't. Now, I think Inoue, of course, has been in that argument for a long time, and possibly is the number one, is the best fighter in the world. He'd be the guy you have to knock off. But I do think that's a really even matchup, especially with Inoue moving up to 122, because, you can keep moving up like that, right? But there is a weight class that's just going to be too much. It's just one that's just going to have
Yeah, that's what I'm
the
saying.
hay on
That's
the
what I'm
camel's
saying.
back.
I think
And,
usually it's your fourth or fifth one. Fourth or
yeah,
fifth one.
so this might be it might be a stretch of whether he can make this weight. I heard people say that he could go to 126. I think that's really pushing it, in my opinion.
I think at 126, if he does, I think 126 would be his final weight. I do see at 126 he'll lose at 126. Depends on how his career goes. I think like those guys. For some reason, bro, I think he could beat Leo Santa Cruz. For some reason, I think he could beat Leo. I don't think he could beat Leo like Ray. I think he could beat Leo.
It's just the size. I mean, I'm just trying to even though they're small, it's not that big, like 122 to 126, but it just starts adding up. And Leo Santa Cruz is kind of active, especially at 126, and those shots might start adding up. And it just might be a thing where he's just too small. He's just honestly too small. But I think him and Fulton is a great matchup. The one thing I'm curious is like, what if Inoue said, let's do a catch weight between where I'm at to where you're at? And I want to see how pissed people would actually be about that, because I'd be all for that. Like, if whatever gets this fight done, I'd be for. So I'm pretty sure people would be pissed about that, though.
Yo, but my thing is like, how come all of a sudden people started like pushing for that fight? Like, the thing is, no one wants to do this, but what made people like want to push for that fight all of a sudden? Now it's like, is it just in recent time that he unified because I know he's been
you're talking about for Fulton Inoue?
Yeah, like when is it?
Well, I think it's the rise of Fulton, really, and then Inoue kind of has no one there, and people want to know how great he is. And now he's kind of getting notoriety here in the States. People are talking about him. He's all on the top of all these pound for pound things. People wanted to see him fight someone that they know, so they're going to choose an American. They got Fulton right there next to him, and they're like, okay, that makes sense. Honestly, just a natural build. No promoter, no promotion, no one was put in this direction. I was actually talking about this fight a while back, but I never kind of thought that it was realistic, because I was like, well, they're not two big names. They're on two completely different promotions. So it'd almost be impossible to make. It would have to, it would have to take a few things to fall in place. I don't think it will. And now it looks like things are falling in place, and like they're acknowledging it. So I think that, Inoue needs to that name. He needs that name opponent for here in the States. Like, he really does. And he didn't fight.
I think Nonito Donaire was a good win, bro. Like, people understand.
Yeah, it is.
Nonito Donaire beats everybody at 118. He'll beat
but 118 is kind of weak, though.
Like, not 118 really, is super weak. Not really, because they got
Casemiro, who couldn't touch. Who couldn't touch Rigo? I mean, Casemiro, who won a fight just because he was running faster.
No, but Rigo is skillful. Like, if you're being honest, but Rigo has like one of the best skills, and I think
he does. But what happened when he fought the next fight? What happened to Rigo the next fight?
Yeah, but I mean, if you no, he didn't get stopped. He lost.
He lost. Yeah, he lost.
No,
but he got dropped though, right?
But I mean, if you watch it, it was kind of like, I mean, bro, it was in the Middle East. I kind of saw some suspect. Like, if you watch the fight, there's an argument that Rigo actually didn't lose. I feel like the knockdown made a difference. Like, the guy didn't really do anything special. He just kept he did cut the ring out pretty good, but he didn't do anything. So the only thing he scored was a knockdown, and that kind of won him the fight. It wasn't a blowout. It wasn't it was a really close fight. And I think
the best case you can make for the weight class is Rodriguez and Maloney, right? And you could just say that they're really
Warren?
good.
How about Rasheed Warren? He's still there. Gary Antonio Russell, even though he's not proven, but it's like,
Warren always looks shaky. Like, I've never seen honestly.
He just got a knockout. I mean, yeah, you're right, but I mean, he just got a knockout win. So those guys are Russell 118 is not weak. 118 is not weak, but
I think it's weak.
Definitely.
Opinion personally, but like I said, Maloney and Rodriguez are the best case. You could just say okay, they weren't at Inoue's level, but they are very good fighters, and
that's
just not big.
You saw,
you could say that. You could say that.
Well, Payano moved up. Look at Payano, bro. Payano got KO'd by Donito. Inoue. Then he had a win. Then he fought Neri, got KO. Then he went up to 122 and gave Roman a fight, which I was kind of okay with Roman. But were you really high on Roman at one point?
I was high on Roman. I was high on Roman
You
because
were.
he had a case at one point that he was the best guy at 122 pounds. Then he fought MJ, and he could have possibly won that fight. It was a close fight. It
I
was
always thought,
competitive.
yeah, I always thought
So
Ray
then,
Vargas. I always thought Ray Vargas would have schooled him, and I always thought Navarrete would have stopped him.
well, we're gonna see with Ray Vargas. I mean, he's gonna fight
Oh,
Max
he still
Zyle.
has it. I watched this fight after 2 years layoffs, but I'm telling you, he might make that fight look really easy.
I think so. I think I could easily see that. Max Zyle fought a guy with one arm and refused to go after him. So yeah, I could easily see that.
He won. Like he outlanded him. I think what win him the fight is he outlanded the.
You thought Max Zyle won?
Oh,
I
he
thought it was a
won
draw.
definitely. Nah, he
Oh
won.
no, I thought it
definitely.
was a draw. He
No,
got
he
schooled at some
outlanded.
points. What guy with
Bro,
one hand?
Bro, he outlanded the guy in 8 rounds. Like, come on, all he did was outland him. He won 8 rounds. Gary
I
Russell
didn't.
outlanded him. The
I have no
second half.
problem. I have no
The
problem
second
with
half,
Max
he
Zyle
outlanded
winning
him.
that fight, but I thought, me personally, I thought like it was a draw, and I thought that Gary Russell had only one hand most of the fight, and if he had another hand, that wasn't even that to me. That's not even a close competitive fight. But
Really? No,
yeah,
no.
I mean, I
He
thought
definitely got outlanded. He definitely lost a lot of the second half. Like the last half, he definitely was losing. Like he definitely got
int-
schooled.
interesting
But
thing I
he.
just found out, like I think a day ago, 2 days ago. I've only had one pro fight in my whole life, and it was on the undercard of a Mark Max Zyle fight. I had no idea. I just forgot it was
When
that
here in the
shit.
States?
Yeah, it was in StubHub or whatever the hell it's called now.
Was it recently or when was this?
No, this was probably like 5 years ago, maybe 4 years ago.
Man, I don't even. I didn't even. All I know is Mark. Like I saw him fight like during the pandemic.
Yeah, I didn't even know who he was. I didn't even know. I mean, I knew who he is now, but I didn't even know he fought on that card. I looked it up the other day, and I was like, "Oh,
Who was
Mark
promoting
Marcel's
it?
on the
Like
card."
what network was it, or was it just one
It
of those
was
rinks?
the one that does all the Filipino fights. They're not Ala promotion, Ala promotions, and the main event was Donnie Nietes. He was the main event.
I thought you were going to say Ring City. I was like, Ring City, USA? Wait, so what is it? Are these like upcoming Filipino fighters? I've never heard of this promotion.
Ala is like Filipino fighters. Yeah, it's like a promotion for Filipino fighters, and they had an event over here. They have them over here, like when like Pacquiao's over here, like they'll have some events, and they had Donnie Nietes. They brought him over here to fight at the StubHub, and I fought. I was like the opening belt on the card, but not like on TV or anything. What I fought on? Well, wait, I fought 154.
154. Man, you should go back and be in title contention. Fight Jim Sue.
I have like 220 pounds right now. The most I cut is probably like 190 if I'm lucky.
Cruiserweight? No, they might make a weight in between, like cruiserweight.
I might go to Bridger. Who knows?
Bridgerweight?
I might go Bridger. with it. But what were we saying? Okay, so yeah, I think Ray Vargas could be more. I'm gonna pick Ray Vargas in that fight against Mike Zyle.
Yeah, he even said
let's see. What were we talking about before that though? Oh yeah, well I was saying I was high on Roman. I was high on Roman.
Really?
And I thought that what Fulton did was hitting him. Go ahead.
No, but I'm like, what I noticed, Roman was coming off a layoff too, and also like, you don't think the age, or you think Fulton definitely did him a purpose? Like, I gotta say, I saw a couple of Roman fights, but it's like I always thought Navarrete and Rivas could beat him at 122. I wish we got those matches, man. The unification with the.
I don't think that's crazy to say Ray Vargas beats him because the one thing about Roman is he has slow feet. Like he doesn't have like those physical.
Yeah,
gifts,
I do see that.
Right?
I do see that he's kind of those feet is a problem.
So Fulton really exposed that. I thought Roman would be a little bit smarter to be able, or like have a few more tricks up his sleeve, but he was just like Fulton's offense, moving backwards and getting set into shots, which is too much. It's just Fulton to me was that was the most impressive thing like I've seen really most of this year is what Fulton did to Roman. I thought
definitely.
I thought it was really downplayed because Haney won undisputed that same week. But what Fulton did was way more impressive than what Haney did against Kambosos. And Haney had a great performance against Kambosos, but Fulton did it to me at a way higher level fighter. And he
you former unified like that. Yeah, definitely. That was a statement. That's why it just says like with Roman. No, because a lot of people were saying, like that Fagan Fulton that he actually lost that because he Fagan landed him. I thought personally
it was a close fight. It was a close fight.
Yeah.
I mean,
because that's why, then he came back and came a performance like that, like this. Like he dominated a former unified. bantamweight
Yeah,
champion.
I think that I think the blueprint's there for like how to how to fight Fulton is that you're gonna have to pressure him. But I think that Figueroa was the best guy at doing that, and he had the physical capabilities. He's so big to do it. He was the best guy to do it to him, and Fulton still pulled it out. You know what I mean? So I don't think anyone's gonna be able to do it as good as Figueroa could possibly do it, as far as applying pressure and being big in the ring. So to me, I think Fulton passes probably his toughest test. Now, at least with that style. Now, in a way, is a guy that can match him as physical ability and technique and all those things. So that's why that fight's like so special in my mind.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I honestly think that probably could be the most the two highest skilled level fighters in the ring, like that you could possibly make. I think that could possibly be higher than Spence Crawford. I'm trying to think of another Usyk, I guess. Fury, Usyk, Fury. Like I think that's honestly the most ability you can put in the ring from two fighters.
Definitely. What did you watch the Inoue Norita undercard?
No, hell no. I didn't even see. I only saw that fight like after, like way after, because this was like it was like 4 a.m. for me.
Oh really? Nah. Oh yeah, you're right. It was like, oh yeah, you are right. It was like, nah, because there was a 140 light welterweight that I like. He's like Japanese, and I think his guy from his family's from Ghana, and he's Japanese too, and he was pretty. He came up to R. Kelly. His theme song was R. Kelly. They have some funny entrances, man.
In Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all about that. It's all about the show of it.
Yeah, that's what he came out to, and I was laughing because I'm like, oh man, he would not pull that over here. People would be like, what?
The R. Kelly. I know. I was thinking like, oh damn, bad time for R. Kelly. What's his name? Do you remember his name?
It starts with the Andy something. He's in the check the rankings in the IBF. He's like the only Japanese fighter there at 140.
Wait. Oh,
140.
Okay.
Like welterweight. Okay. Check the rankings. He's the IBF. His name is Andy something. Like his story is interesting, bro. I really like him. I wonder. Apparently he's like the next
Andy Hiroka.
Yeah, Andy Hiroka. That's my guy right there. I like how he fights, man.
I'm gonna look him up right now, my friend. Let's see here.
No, I like him, bro. Hopefully, I want to see him in the mix. He's really good. He showboats a lot though in the ring. I've noticed that's like that might actually be a bad thing.
He's got some good size on him.
Yep.
Let's see here. All right, I'll watch him a little bit later. But okay, I never heard of this guy. He looks like he moving his way up in the rankings. Number 9 right now. IBF.
Hey, what would you think of Japanese fighters? They have. I like Kaguchi. He's up there with me. Yeah, that guy's really interesting. He showboats a lot. He plays around with with his opponents. He likes to, but that's my only worry. Is like, man, he's gonna play around and he'll get caught.
You know who was I was, because I'm not like 100% like following. I mean, I'm starting to follow it now, but like the one guy that I was like, damn, this guy's like pretty damn good. He fought on the undercard. He was like the co-main event on the no, he wasn't the co-main event. He was the fight before the co-main event on the Golovkin Murata card. What the hell's his name?
Oh, Nakatani?
Is it Nakatani?
What
long. He's kind of tall. He's a flyweight.
Yeah, Nakatani, 112.
Yeah, that dude's bad. I really like that guy.
Oh yeah, then they got there was a card at that lightweight. I have a feeling, bro, that lightweight might. Nah, I don't know because he's on the WBO rank. He fought the former world champion at 130. How do you pronounce his name? Aito or whatever. He fought him on that undercard too.
Yeah. No, not Nakatani. No, not Nakatani. Did he fight in that card? Is that the card?
Yeah, it was at 112. He knocked the dude. Yeah, you talking about him?
Yeah. Nakatani. Yes.
Yeah,
I like that guy a lot. That dude, he's I like his offense. I like everything that guy does. Yeah,
bro, he beat Acosta from the way he did it. Like he knocked him out in like fashion, like under like 4 rounds. Like that's impressive.
And then the guy that just fought this past weekend, on DAZN. You know what I'm talking about? On Friday? Last Friday?
Saturday?
No, it was on a Friday. It was a Friday card.
Oh, Kaguchi in Mexico. Yeah, Kaguchi. Yeah. That's my dog.
He's good. He's really good. Good technical. He gives too much. He's too offensive. Like he's he goes too much. He does too much to where, like, even though he's so superior to the guy technically and everything he does is correct and everything like that, he does it so much that the guys always have an opening with him. Like, you could just punch because he's just kind of button mashing in front of you. Like, he's constantly giving you openings because he's just doing too much. That's the
No,
only
I like
complaint I have
him.
with him. But that guy's fun to watch. That
No,
guy's
but he turns
technically,
it
he's so
up,
damn
though.
good. Yeah,
He
he
turns it
really is.
up. I think
I think
I
he.
know it's crazy. I think he beats Bam. In my opinion, he beats Bam.
Oh no, I 100% disagree
You
with
don't
that.
think so? No,
No, no, no, no.
I think I know who else beats Bam. There's a
Who
Cuban guy. He's an interim belt. He's at 108. Daniel Miller. He beats Bam.
at
He
108?
beats.
He's 108.
Yeah. Okay. So
That's kind
this
of
how it
small
was.
for.
Kaguchi was the champion. You know, the linear
Okay.
champion.
Yeah, yeah.
Bermudez was the regular. There was another Cuban guy that was a interim. What they did was they skipped over. Like, I don't know if it's because like maybe he doesn't have a fan for the style. I don't know the
You talking
process.
about
They were
Gonzalez
gonna
or Matala?
no Militon. He's a
Militolo.
Cuban guy. Yeah, yeah. They went for Bermudez. They were supposed to fight him on the undercard of the Mikey Garcia Santa Martin. He had visa issues, so they kind of moved on. Opponent that Cuban who fought under the zone card last June. He beat he became interim. And then no, since 2020, he was already interim. He just had like a something different against like another Canelo fighter. He just was been kind of like waiting for his shot. So I guess he was supposed to actually fight Kaguchi, but instead they fought Bermudez to just be one title. So I think that's who they were gonna target. They wanted him to Bam to fight to get like a title shot. And I think Bomba was supposed to like
But you
I
think
think I,
do you think Bam's moving back down their weight? Because I don't think so. I think he's
nah,
done.
but you don't think Kaguchi can beat Bam? I think he can beat Bam.
I don't. I think that
What makes you
he
say
like
that?
I said,
I think
well,
his
like
offense is gonna be like, cause
his
bro,
offense
like
is very good. It's very good. But like I said, he button mashes. That's the only way I could describe it. He button mashes. He does too much. And he's hittable because he does so much that he's always in between shots. So you can always catch him in between shots. Bam's also like, I think that what's his name again? How do you pronounce his name?
who
The fighter, the Asian fighter we're talking about.
Kaguchi,
Taguchi.
yeah,
Um
Kaguchi.
he also is like a little like slow with his feet. Like I don't think that he's gonna be able to keep up with Bam's like physical gifts with his feet, like the angles he has and stuff like that. Like he'll come forward, he'll have good. If they stay in the pocket, he'll be able to land. He'll be able to land good shots because he's so technically good on the inside. But I think that Bam adds just other dimensions to it, and I just think that he'll be too much for him. The guy that guy's gonna be in like tough fights for going forward just because of his style. Even like lower level opponents, like honestly, that opponent he fought to me wasn't like that great. I think that guy was durable, and his durableness, just because he was able to hang around through the offense, gave him a lot of opportunities in that fight. But I don't think that was that guy was great or anything. So, and he had to fight with that guy. So I don't think he's gonna
I
at the
mean,
level of Bam.
we beat a former Butler that was a former linear, and he took his. Nah, I think Bam. I think he can. If he gets physical, he can beat Bam. Let's see what he looks like, man. Because I don't know that Quadras win got a lot of people like I'm high on Bam. I just wish
Yeah,
he would have.
Kyle Gucci, that's his name. Okay,
Yeah, that's
Kyle
what I
Gucci.
said. Yeah, Gucci.
Yeah.
I
I'm
don't
looking at
know,
it right
man.
now, but he doesn't look like the guy. For some reason, his picture looks different. But yeah, Kyle Gucci. He's damn good. I'm not taking anything away from him. I would favor Bam over him. But I told you, Bam's not going back down. So unless that guy's moving
So
up,
you think? And I have another one. Who do you think in SSR versus Bam? Who you favor in that fight?
I favor Bam. SSR hits hard. He's good. He's a damn good fighter. I think maybe he's definitely got some age on him. I think Bam's slowly working his way up to like the top guy at super flyweight. And I'm a favor Bam. I think you have Bam getting knocked out cold, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. No, I just think I have a question for you. Okay, so if you're say that the belt was vacant and it was Roman Gonzalez and Gallo Strada. Gallo Strada as a title. Do you think they would have jumped up and fought Gallo and Bam?
Wait, say it again.
Okay. So say the title went vacant, right? And the number two guy or the challenger was Gallo Strada or Roman Gonzalez. Do you think they would have jumped up and fought any of those two? If it was either one.
If you're Bam, you're talking about.
No. You think if Bam's team or whoever, okay, say that the title went vacant, right? Say that for some reason, somebody, Gallo, say SSR's in the mix, right? Say it was Gallo or Roman Gonzalez. They needed an opponent. Do you think Bam would have jumped up and fought Gallo or Roman Gonzalez between those two?
I think he would fight Gallo. I think that Chocolatito would probably be like there'd be a little more thought process in it. But yeah, I don't think
Bro,
Bam's
he
honestly
fight
gonna. I don't.
Gallo? How would he fight Gallo? Bro, Gallo, like, I don't know, man. He puts him,
Okay,
like,
here's the difference. Choco's power, right? His power, he can like physically break you, right? If you lose to Estrada, you most likely just gets outboxed and outworked. But if you lose to Chocolatito, he's gonna put a beating on you, like he did to Martinez, right?
yeah.
The beating he put on Martinez, right? He changed Martinez's career after that point. Like that, Martinez is not going to be the same fighter
You
after
think
that fight.
so?
Yeah, he's lessened.
What makes you say
He took a
that?
beat because you can't take beatings like that. Those beatings like that change you. That's the
I
one thing you
mean,
don't want.
I don't think so. Because what happens if Ray comes back and knocks out a Roy or doesn't a statement? Because I
Well,
just
I
feel
mean,
like you gotta remember he was a late replacement. Like he stepped because that fight with them was supposed to happen in October. Chocolatito had visa issues. Then Gallo got COVID. Like it was bad COVID. Then he got that Mando that was kind of like, man, it was pretty stupid because they called it up. So it's like the trilogy should have happened. So it's like he kind of replaced. Like he didn't have to take that fight. He could have
no,
fought.
yeah, all
And,
credit
and,
to him for
and
taking it and everything, but he took a beating. I mean, no matter late replacement or whatever, he took a full beating and he took it for a lot of rounds. And I thought that they could have stopped that fight a lot sooner because the beating was too much. I didn't think he needed to take that. He was never going to turn that fight around. You knew that kind of early in the fight, honestly. You kind of knew like, okay, this is going in a bad direction. And they kept him going. And he took a beating. And I don't think he recovered from those beatings. The one thing, like, people always say, like, oh, he got knocked out cold. He's done. I'm like, a beating is way worse. Taking a full beating for like 8 rounds and 9 rounds is way
Nah, I think
worse.
a KO is way worse, bro. I'd rather, in my
Why? You
opinion,
see,
get
Pacquiao
outboxed
got
than
slept by Marquez and
yeah,
came
yeah,
back
yeah.
and
But
was
here's
still
the thing,
effective.
though. No. But,
Uh,
like, I'd rather take a beating, like it'll
mhm.
than get out, than get knocked out. Like, bro, getting
Well, I
knocked
mean,
out. Look at,
maybe.
example. Look at Bill Chert. He got knocked out cold. And I don't think he'll be the
Oh,
same.
but
And
he
I'm
took a
like, yo,
beating to that point, though. He really did. He took a beating to that point. He was getting hit a lot in that fight, and then yeah, he did get knocked out cold. He got the worst of it. He took a beating and then got slept. So
and
yeah,
then
that was probably the worst he could possibly take. And
and then
he is
another
done.
one.
He's completely done.
You think
Valdez
so?
took everything from him. Oh God, he doesn't have legs. His legs don't work anymore.
How does
His
that
legs.
like that? That just throws me off. It's like, bro, before that fight, he was destroying everybody. Like,
Yeah,
dude,
because
he did Sosa pretty bad. Like, bro, and his defense was good in that fight. Like, he was a good fight.
these
People say that his defense was over like all the rate because, bro, he was beating Sosa pretty bad. Like, and I don't think
he was a
Sosa's ever.
he was damn good before that fight. He was damn good. And then he ran
Yeah,
to Valdez, and maybe it was a weight thing, or maybe
I think it was
or
just like
maybe he just ran to a perfect Valdez and a perfect style again that he couldn't handle that night, and he took a beating. But when you take those beatings like that overnight, you age as a fighter. Like you're not going to take a beating and come back and be the same. Like just like Lubin, the beating he took, he's not going to come back and be a top contender. It's just not
you
going to
don't think
happen.
so? To be
No, that's
honest,
it.
yeah, I have a feeling. Like to be honest, I don't know, man. It was kind of like the thing is like they said that he can fight. I was like, bro, but I think if he would have fought Charlo again, I think he would have lost. Like that's the thing. It's like, man, I don't know. I feel bad because like I seems like he wants to be like. It's just hard. It's hard because he lost to Charlo. Okay, went back to during final eliminators, but I feel like if he would have fought Charlo again, the result would have been the same. He would have got him knocked out. And like he fought Fandora, another great fighter, and he got beat. So it's like I don't even see him beating any of like a lot of the contenders. Like I don't think he beats Tim Tszyu. I don't think he beats Castaño. I don't think he beats the guy that's with Matchroom. The like, where does he go from here? It's like, bro, he's gonna have to start from the scratch, and then those contenders, you're gonna
Yeah,
have
they're
new
gonna.
guys popping up, and they're just gonna be, like more hungrier. I'm not saying he's not hungry, but it's like, bro, he's in a tough spot because it's like,
He's got two decisions to make. Does he want to build back to being a contender again? And that would mean taking less pay to fight lesser opponents and building your way back on undercards. Or
yeah,
does he want to get paid out as much as he possibly can before it's over and he'd be a gatekeeper for all the guys at 154, and he's gonna have to fight some tough guys, and maybe he could turn it around. Maybe that's the quickest way out. He beats a few guys that are with some credible names and work your way back, right? But it's gonna be tough fights right away. It's a decision he
yeah.
has to make. Most likely,
Either
he
he,
chooses the gatekeeper route. They go and fight him with whoever they have at 154 that's coming up, maybe like a Jesus Ramos or something like that, and see what he does. You know what I mean? But they feel like this is a guy that can, propel our guys to the next level.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, because they were saying like you kind of weird because he fought Charlotte 2017, and it's like you see how many years it went before he got like a final. Because like he was fighting eliminators after eliminators, but it's like if you would have fought Charlo earlier, or like say like last summer or the year before that, I think the result would have been the same.
Yeah, I don't think he was beating Charlo. I don't think he was ever going to
Yeah,
beat
I know I'm
Charlo.
saying maybe a couple rounds, but yeah, and then he fought
Yeah, yeah.
Fundora, and I knew that was a best. I was telling him, but nah, bro, those uppercuts are gonna be like very factor. I don't think he's gonna be able to um to uh to match up Fundora's is like obviously his physicality. And it's crazy to me is how was he winning the fight? The judges had him up. It's like there's no way he was winning that fight, bro. He was clearly to me was
I didn't
losing. It
know
was a close fight.
the judges
Yeah,
had him
judges
up
had
like
him
that.
up. Yeah, the judges had him up. Like
Yeah, I didn't see that either. I thought it was really Fundora going Fundora's way, but I knew that fight wasn't going to make the distance. Whoever won was going to go the distance. Like that fight was going to, both of them at that point they were both just going in there, just putting everything behind their shots. But I knew Fundora would break him down. I knew that late in that fight, if it didn't end early, and it went late, and Fundora's never showed to be chinny at all. So I was like, it's going to go late, and we know Lubin kind of breaks down eventually. He's able to break. I was like, Fundora's going to be in a position to break him, and he did. And you called it too. I know you called that one as well.
I told you, yeah, Fundora reminds me of like a Margarito, but just bigger.
Yeah,
Did you ever get to see Margarito fight?
and not metal hands. You don't have bricks in his hands. I was gonna say because
Hey,
I was gonna use an
conspiracy theorists,
example. Oh
conspiracy
no,
theories.
no
You
conspiracy.
think
No, it
so?
was proven fact. He had but cast in his hands.
Wait. Proven fact. Where did you see that? Like,
Shea Mosley. It fell out of his wraps.
no.
So
Did you? Where did you see this? And I saw recent. They said that dust came out, like dust of or whatever.
no.
Not
They
black
opened the
tea.
wrap. They
No,
opened the
dust.
wrap
They said
and
that. They
Chuck.
said not
No,
chunks. Oh, you're tripping.
Chuck,
Watching him, he said it. He said like the stuff that could be made of like dust or
they
something.
found they
Not an
found
actual plaster,
they found
like dust.
plaster.
Like
They found plaster that when you wet it, it hardens in his gloves. There's no, not in his wraps. There's no any other way around it. That was common knowledge that they found that, and he had after he fought Cotto, and this is the example I was going to use because Cotto actually took a beating that bad against a guy with cast in his gloves, and came back and still was like a high level fighter because that's very rarely. But after the Cotto fight, his wraps were blue, and that was from the plaster. After they get wet and dry, they turn blue. That's exactly what
I
happened.
gotta look into that mess. They explained it, and then somebody like I'll send you the interview and look how and they show you that you're like I don't know. That story throws
I
me
don't need to
off
see it. The guy spotted it, and the commission took it, and they were like, "It's plaster. This guy has plaster in his hands." So no matter what happens before that, once they find that, it's done. You lose all credibility with me, and I know for a fact that when he fought Cotto the first time, and he fought him the second time, Cotto's face didn't blow up like it did in the first time.
bro. Cotto even said the shots felt the same. He's like, bro, he hits hard. Like you see, his face was like, bro. Cotto was getting touched up the second fight. Like,
Look at the Kermit Cintron fight. Look at the Margarito versus Kermit Cintron. As soon as he touches him, Kermit Cintron hits the floor. It's like if he got shot. Okay, before the Kermit Cintron fight, he fights on Friday Night Fights. The guy's ear splits in half.
oh
The guy's
yeah, I
ear
saw Lajon, right? Lajon.
yes,
Yeah, I remember that. I
his
remember
ear
that.
nearly falls off. This is not normal stuff. That's not normal things that happen. Okay, he was known for breaking guys' orbital bones in sparring. This is not normal stuff. That's not normal things that
Oh,
happen.
where'd you hear that? Yeah. I mean, I've actually like know people that were inspiring. They said that he actually hits pretty fucking hard. But I mean, you might be actually. I don't know. That story because I've heard stories that he's actually bro. He's a big ass welterweight. Like
No, he is.
pretty.
He's a good size. But after the Shea Mosley fight, he lost a considerable amount of power. None of his
Yeah,
performances looked like that ever
yeah.
again.
No, you're right about and yeah, that's the thing. But he just had a he. Yo, how did you know about the herbal born inspiring?
Because you don't remember, so after so he fights Shane, he loses. He has maybe it's the Pacquiao one. I think it's maybe possibly the Pacquiao one. They do a 24/7 on it, and the guy is in Pacquiao's camp, I believe. I think it's Pacquiao. It might be Cotto, the rematch. I don't remember, but the guy that was sparring with Cotto or Pacquiao at that point was telling a story that he had went to the camp, and that the guy he got in the thing and he was getting hit by Margarito, and his face, he broke his orbital bone. through headgear. He broke his orbital bone. So then he started thinking, and he was like, a lot of people were saying, like, what the hell? This guy's hands just feel different. Like his punches are a different level. And I'm thinking they were probably trying out the cast and seeing, like, can you punch with it? How does it feel? Do your hands wear off after time? And they're probably feeling it out. And he was probably doing a lot of damage. Like, I think stuff like this is the evidence all started adding up once they found out that he actually got caught. Then everybody started like adding it up, all these things that happened before. And I just remember his run. His first run was insane. Like, it looked like
he was,
punches.
he was knocking. Yeah, he was not. That's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
one of my other, like because you're a bit, you're older than me, obviously. Like when I saw him fight, I'm like, yo, this guy, like, you know the famous story that why Mayweather like like, but it's like I looked, I'm like, oh yeah, dude, this guy's huge for welterweight. It's like he has a gas thing. It's like, bro, you hit him with like, and he does not. It's like he keeps coming, like, and like you could see the punches that he would hit people with, like all of a sudden they would fall, like the way they would fall, like when he knocked the Goldie Johnson. I'm like, dude, is that normal? Like how the like it's just like that dude went down, and then the Kermit Simpson fight. And I remember watching that one with the ear live, and I'm like, dude, is that normal? It's like
His
he
ear
went
was
on
peeling off. The shit was not normal. Yeah, it was not
that
normal.
shit's
So
not normal. And then
yeah.
And people were like, and like people didn't want to fight him, like, bro, like people legit were. It's like. And then after, like, the raps came on, like the way he did Cotto, I was like, no way. Like he did Cotto pretty bad. That's why I was like, yo. And Cotto was undefeated, like, was on a run too. And it's just the way he just did him. Like he was losing that fight. He was getting outboxed.
That was actually a really huge fight. When that fight happened, like there was a lot of hype going into that first fight. Like,
you remember?
Because it was it was like Cotto, who was, like at that point was arguably, one of the best guys at that weight class. Margarito was the guy that was, the boogeyman, supposedly. They don't wanted to fight. And when they matched up, it was like, people were pumped for that fight.
Yeah, dude. Even in the like, bro, yeah, and then that's crazy how he lost the storyline. The story came with the raps and stuff, and he just kind of like, yeah, you're right. The performances weren't adding up no more after that.
No, I mean, it's not like the last thing that goes is your power. You don't just suddenly lose your power overnight.
Yeah, I mean that is true. I mean, bro, and like you gotta understand, I mean, bro, I don't know. I gotta see his fights because after the Mosley fight, he has a fight, and like maybe between the Pacquiao fight, he did really was hurting the. He didn't get the knockout, but that he did put a beating on that dude that he fought, and then he fought Pacquiao, kind of went on a layoff. Then he fought Cotto, and he was, he was coming up on Cotto. Then he kind of went on a long layoff. He was coming back, and then age got caught up with him. But you're right, his storyline kind of didn't add up because like, yeah, one performance before
he fought like after Cotto. Who did he fight? There was like one weird matchup, like where I was like, what the hell? Like this is a strange fight.
He fought Carson Jones for that fight, but at one point they were gonna do him versus Canelo, bro. Like in 20. Like he went on a long layoff.
I remember there was like a rumor for that. I do remember that.
Yeah, I wish he would, bro. That would have been a decent win for him, and he probably would have, Would you feel
Canelo was supposed to fight Paul Williams, and Paul Williams got in a motorcycle accident.
Horrible accident. Yeah. Then Margarito came up for a little bit. Margarito fought one of his.
He fought Ramon Alvarez. He fought Canelo's brother, and then he fought Carson Jones. I don't remember Carson Jones. I gotta see him.
He's the one that fought Kell Brook that they had to run it back, and it was a close fight.
It doesn't sound familiar to me. Let's see here. And he fought Jorge Paez Jr. Maybe that's the fight I'm thinking of. The Jorge Paez Jr. Yeah, I don't know, but I just think the evidence is all there that was for sure plaster in his hands, which is pretty crazy. I mean, that's.
What was your reaction when you would see his fights? Like the way, like did you ever watch him live? I'm pretty sure, like, did you like?
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, when he was coming up, yeah, like it was like a big deal. It was a big deal, especially it's like a Mexican fighter, like that. All full comes forward and breaks you down and has a endless gas tank. I used to look at sparrings like all the time because I used to spar like Sean Porter. They had like a really famous sparring of his was him versus maybe like Latin Snake, I think it was on YouTube. But yeah, so I think I used to when he was coming up, like it was I was hyped about him because it's just like this guy that, and everybody wanted someone to be at the level of like Mayweather at that point, like who could challenge actually Mayweather. It was like, oh, this guy kind of has like the physical capabilities to do it. So yeah, he was like everybody was super pumped for him.
Yeah, he was avoided too, bro. Like I've heard stories that people I read online that people actually did turn him down multiple times. Like people were like,
Well,
yeah,
you got to think too,
I,
though. Like it's like the same thing over and over again. It's like, he wasn't a big seller. You know what I mean? Like he was coming up, he was a big name, but he was
yeah, he
coming up
wasn't.
as far as a name, but he wasn't like a seller or anything like that. So it was like, what would be the point of fighting him? Like he seems tough as hell, and it's like, why fight you? What am I getting out of it at that point?
So then when we use those arguments today, people don't like him, but they were really used back in the day.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's what happened back then. Like he wasn't a selling point. His
No, that's
his
what people
biggest
used to say.
fight.
Like example, like with Lara, when Lara wanted to fight Mayweather, people would be like, "What does he get out of it? He doesn't get nothing." I'm like, "Well, they do have a point, but it's like sometimes like, I don't know, bro. It seems like, but bro, these boxing that where we said he didn't deserve the fight, they were always used. That's what people used to say back then to get like certain fights. Like, what you don't deserve, not deserve the fight, but it's like, what do they bring to me? It's like,
Yeah,
you're right. He
well,
wasn't a seller at all. He only got big because after the Cotto win.
yeah,
And
you
I think
gotta.
Kermit
His
Cintron too.
his biggest like opportunity was they put him on. ESPN did a pay per view. There was like their only like Friday night fights did a pay per view, and he was Kermit Cintron and him were the main event. That was like their selling point. They had Shane Mosley on the undercard. He fought David Estrada. They had Calvin Brock fought what's his
They
name,
did a pay per
McCline.
view on a Friday night.
They did Friday night fights, but it was a pay per view. I don't remember if it was Friday night. They might have did it on Saturday. I don't remember.
So what
But
was
yeah,
the Friday nights? I gotta remember. So Friday nights, who hosted them? Was it Top
it
Rank
was
or
ESPN. No,
Oh,
no, it
just
was they
ESPN? It
didn't.
was just
Yeah,
ESPN.
they didn't have anyone. They did a different promote. It was like like the one you brought up, the boxing, whatever. It's like they use
Ring
whoever
City,
they
that's
could
it.
get. Yeah, Ring City was
Oh
like
yeah.
that. Like they could.
Oh, it was just ESPN. That's it.
Yeah, and they brought a bunch of different promotions in. So like they would had like I remember they had Corellis when he got out of jail. Like he did he did a couple fights on there. Margaret when he came up. They always had like Mickey Ward would be on there. Like they always
Oh
had like
yeah.
fights like that. It'd be like okay, like I remember this guy. Like you would get the guys that couldn't sell like on HBO or Showtime. They would come and build their name on Friday Night Fights.
Yeah. So HBO was up there. Oh yeah, I remember. He did fight
Yeah,
on Showtime too, though. Remember he fought not Antonio, was it Antonio Diaz? He fought not Antonio Diaz, he fought Antonio Diaz for the welterweight title, I remember. And he fought Martinez too, like Sergio Martinez,
yeah.
bro.
He
He
fought
he,
Sergio Martinez early in
he
Sergio
knocked him
Martinez's
out.
career.
Yeah, dude. Sergio
Yeah, yeah,
Martinez looked like he didn't even know how to box. Like it looked like somebody that literally got into the gym has only been boxing for 2 years. Like it was a
yeah, yeah,
mismatch.
yeah, yeah.
Hey, fun.
Because
You want to know a fun fact?
what's that? Was that
I'm not gonna tell me, but I got from a credible source that Sergio Martinez only got $800 from that fight.
to fight Margarito?
Yeah, he only got $800.
Oh, I believe it. I mean, damn. When I fought, I didn't get a dime, so that makes a lot of sense to
Oh,
me.
he got $800, and it was, you know what's sad? That was on a pay per view, bro. It was on the Eric Morales versus Martin Antonio Barrera pay per view, and he got $800 to fight Margarito.
Was it televised or no? It probably wasn't
It
televised
was
though, right?
no, it was televised. It was a paper. It was part of the pay per view show.
No, no, it could have been.
Yes, yeah, bro. Look at the card. I got he
I mean, it
got.
was probably on the card, but I don't know if it was televised because there's no way they pay him only 800 in televised.
No, they paid him $800, bro. He wasn't with the Top Rank. Look at his story. Look how Top Rank, like, bro, when he beat Kelly Pavic, when he beat, like, bro, like Top Rank did not like him for some reason.
Who's that? Who's that? Who's that? Martinez or
Yeah,
Margarito?
Martinez.
Oh,
Martinez.
Martinez. Yeah, they probably didn't think they had anything with him. Like he didn't start getting really into his into like his full ability to like late 30s. Like that dude
Yeah,
didn't really
I think
turn
the Kelly
over.
Pavic win. The Kelly Pavic win is the one that put him on the map because
Yeah, well, what happened was the Paul Williams, the first one, the first Paul Williams fight.
yeah.
Yeah, the first Paul Williams fight where he lost, but it was a good fight, a really good fight, probably like fight of the year. And then
Yeah.
he goes and replaces Paul Williams because Paul Williams got hurt in the Kelly Pavlik fight, and then he gets that huge win, and then they run the Paul Williams one back. It was just like
And he knocked
crazy
him
run. Then he
out.
goes on he goes on a good run. I mean, I think people probably
Gary
knock his opponents
Baker.
now. Yeah, they would knock his opponents now, but at that point, it was like a crazy run.
No, well, why not? Kelly Pavic was a lineal champion.
No. At that, no. Kelly Pavlik and Paul Williams is good, but then like they'll probably knock the Darren Barker.
I mean, Darren Barker was a champion, and that one guy from the Ukraine was a champion. Like, I don't knock this opponent. It's just people just I don't get like, bro, they're former world champions occurring. That's a good win. Like, I like world champions matter. That's what goes on. I mean, you're not gonna get Hall of Famers because boxing is different nowadays. Like, bro, people expect to bro, like when you tell them, okay, world champions are good wins. Okay, then who do you want them to fight then if they're not? Like you can only fight the guys that are the champions that are available, right?
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, like I said, me personally, I go off like who you beat, like your names. I don't really care about titles or anything like that or defenses. I don't care about that. So, but some guys get screwed in that deal, right? Like I think Sergio Martinez wasn't really anyone at middleweight at that point. Towards the end of his career, Golovkin started coming, right? Like I would say towards the end of his career, Golovkin
Yeah,
started coming, and possibly that fight could have happened, whatever. But sometimes guys get screwed. That's just the case of it. I think honestly, Charlo, I think he's kind of screwed. He gets screwed at middleweight. I don't think that he's dodging anyone. I still think he could really find anyone to fight, and it's kind of just kind of hurt his career in a major way. And it's not for him to blame, but when we look back on his career, we're gonna be like, well, he didn't really beat anyone. He never really proved that he was the highest level of fighter. I think that happens. It
yeah.
sucks, but it happens.
I mean, the thing is, what I understand is like, bro, he has the same advisor. Look what his advisor did. His advisor, with Daniel Jacobs, he told him to go to HBO, and he got all the big fights, and
Who
got to
who
fight
who?
Daniel Jacobs, Daniel L.
He,
Heyman. L. Heyman, man,
yeah, but it was
advised Jacobs.
it was different though back then. Like it's harder to make fights now. I honestly think when HBO and Showtime were around, it was easier to make fights. I really believe that because you could send a guy over and all that. But now, like, you need to have content. Like you can't afford to give up your top talent to say like, oh yeah, just go fight over there. It's like no, you need to put out a certain amount of shows a year, and you need main events. And
Yeah,
Charlo's a main event,
that's what,
so
yeah.
it's tough to make. It's like business wise, it's hard. It's pretty hard.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, because look what he did with Jacobs for the Triple G fight. He quit over there, like, and that was a good fight. That was a good fight right there. Jacobs versus
That was a
Triple
damn
G.
good fight. Yeah, that was a
Yeah,
damn
man.
good
I
fight.
mean, that's what I'm saying. That's like Charlo does get screwed because, bro, all the champions are in other networks and stuff, and they can only fight the. But it's like, bro, you're right on that. I'm honest in this situation. I either just stay at middleweight, try to see if I can get Jenna back or get somebody else. But like you said, they're trying to get the notable names. If I can get them, I'll just move up and try to fight a Plant or somebody else to at least get a good name on the resume because he's been on middleweight, but it's like unifications are going to be hard to make.
Yeah, I think I don't think he's gonna go 167 unless it's Canelo. I don't see him going out for
Yeah,
Benavidez
that's what
or
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm
yeah, I don't
saying.
think it's gonna
People act
happen.
like the thing people say when they move up, bro, they move up just for one thing. They're not gonna stay there because I mean we've seen that happen. They'll move up and come back down. I mean if they lose, it's no knock. He lost to a pound for pound guy, and he lost to like the fighter. But it's like if you lose to a contender, your stock kind of goes down. At least
Yeah,
lose to a
yeah,
champion because like that in a weight class because he's not a 168.
yeah. I honestly think they're gonna stay at 160. I think that the best thing they could do right now is try to get Demetrius Andrade, who's a free agent, and he was talking about all these PBC names. So get him, fight Charlo at middleweight, and I think that fight could generate some buzz. I think that's the way to go. Get him
You think so?
either someone walks away with a credible win there. I think that they can whoever wins that could make a claim that they're the best middleweight in the world,
Oh,
and they would have the
definitely.
win to back it up. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's where you go with him. I think that
Yeah.
I want to see him selfishly. I want to see him at 167, but maybe he knows like that's just too big for me. And why diminish
Yeah,
yourself if you don't have to?
yeah, and here's the thing though. Are you sure people would go to because bro, the Showtime president was like, we've moved on from that because like when we were talking on Twitter, like someone kept bringing that up and he clearly just shut it down. It's like, oh, we moved on from that, and it's
Well,
like
he can't talk about
you,
him anyways because at that point Andrade was under contract, so he can't even talk about him. He can't even say like I'm interested or anything. He can't say anything. So and they always downplay everything. Like of course that's what he's gonna do. He's got to negotiate with him, so he's gonna downplay it. Like we don't really need him. But
yeah,
I think they'll do business. I mean, I don't see why not. They have nothing else for Charlo. So if I'm Charlo, I'm like, we're not going to bring Andre to fight. Like that doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean?
I
So
mean that's what I'm saying. It's like that's what I'm
and
saying. It seems like they're not interested. So like, bro, you gotta understand. And also, remember when he was supposed to fight the brother a couple years ago and he pulled out? Don't you like? You don't think they're what's it called? They might be still mad about that or they moved on because like bro they lost a lot of money like he pulled out during the fight week like where there was like where they had like I remember seeing it bro I saw an ad for it like they were promoting the fight like it was in the December it was going to be at the Mandalay and then he pulled out so like You don't think they're not mad at that, or they have something?
I mean, if you can make money, that's all they care about. If you can make money now, that's all they care about. They don't care about money lost. They care about money now. If
Yeah,
they
and
can make money now
Samsung,
with them, they'll do it.
yeah, Samsung straight up said that he's not interested in the fight, and he said it's gonna be up to, and PBC won't make the fight, and this is someone's promoter.
Man,
And
yeah,
Spaces,
Samson
he said
talks.
it.
He talks too much. I'll be honest with you. And when he talks,
Yeah.
it's very, very, very.
Oh, did you?
I think it comes off very bad. Honestly, me personally, I think so.
No, I agree
And
with you. I agree with you. Like when he tries to say, I'm like, bro, but like an example, I don't know if you heard. Canelo, he didn't even want Benavidez sparring Canelo because like apparently Benavidez was too young and he didn't want to see Canelo. I was like, bro, how can you be scared of or duck somebody when he wanted to spar your fighter for a fight that he had coming up and you said no? It's like I don't know. Yeah, he says stuff that doesn't make sense. Like, bro, I don't think you'd be scared of somebody if you've offered them a fight before and you wanted to spar them or like
Canelo wanted to spar him.
yeah,
Con
Benavidez.
Benavidez.
Yeah, he
Oh, I
called them
don't.
up. They called and he said no.
And Benavidez said no. I don't know. Maybe that's
No, no,
layoff
no,
because
no, 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 no.
Benavidez like
Samson said that. Samson
oh
said no. He's like, no,
because
no, no.
Benavidez like whole thing when he came up because I used to watch him wild card. He used
Yeah.
to spar everyone. Like he sparred Latif Coyote, right? Like and he was like 16 years old. He was spar Kelly Pavlik. He was spar all these guys. So like that was his whole thing coming up.
Yeah,
So it's like I can't see him being like, oh no, I don't want to spar Canelo. But
no, Samson. Samson said Samson's
Samson said
promoter
that.
said that he
But
said
damn, I
no. He
mean,
said
where was he at when he was sparring Kelly Pavlik at 16 years old? You know what I mean? Like that dude
yeah.
was like he was 16. I swear, I see him wild card and he would fight like all the top pros and go like a grip arounds. Like that dude was just he was like a
Would they
freak of
would they
nature.
would they, would they go hard on him, but they were kind
Hell
of just
yeah,
like
no, hell no, yeah, they go hard as hell. I seen I've seen Devin Haney spar at Walker when he was just a kid. Like he was young though, super young.
mhm.
He wasn't like big enough or didn't have his man body yet to spar like pros. Like he was spar pros, but they kind of sometimes they would have to let up a little bit just because he was so young. It's just he had the
Yeah.
obvious skill, but he's just too young.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
Dave Benavidez would go full on, hell yeah, like all out on this when he was spar. Like it was a war, full on like a ring war.
Who's the first? You don't. I don't want to put like who's the one that you think gave him the most work, or someone that matched his or
I don't honestly. I don't think there was really anyone at his level, like at wildcard at that point, because it wasn't like they would have close to his weight class was like what, like Peter Quillen, but I don't remember them matching up ever in sparring wildcard. So I don't really think anyone was really like. I think the best guy I've ever possibly I think I remember seeing him in was what's his name? They lost to Charlo, got knocked out. Centennial, Hugo Centennial. But yeah, I
yeah.
don't. Yeah, I don't. He was sparred all the pros then. They were good fighters, but they weren't like high. Like they never made it to like world
Oh, okay.
championship level. You know what I'm saying? So he was always kind of better than that.
No, but I'm saying it's just weird to me. Samson did not let him spar, but it's like, bro, at
That's
that
kind of weird.
time,
Yeah, that sounds
yeah,
weird to
but
me
it's
too
like
because
maybe,
he spars like tough.
well, I don't know, man. That's what happens with promoters. So, like, the thing is, sometimes they don't want because say that this part and say if Nello would have made him look bad or didn't bad, then he
Or
would have been like, oh shit, they would have used that. I don't know. I
or
personally fight, who but it's like I don't understand why he's looking for.
he's a possible opponent in the future. So you're like,
Yeah,
why even
yeah,
give him a look? You know, you don't want to give him a
yeah,
look or something like that. Maybe something like that.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. But we're an hour and a half here. I appreciate you jumping on, Polo. You know you're always
Yeah, for
welcome
sure.
here. You're the unofficial co-host of this
Of course.
podcast. Whenever you come on, and whenever you're available to come on, I appreciate when you come on, man.
Always, bro. Pleasure. And we'll be back next Thursday.
Let's do it. All
Let's
right.
do it.
Peace.
Peace.